Hello? Hello? All right. Hey there, everyone. This is the Peanutcast, your modern day peanut gallery. Today we're talking about things ranging from Back to the Theaters, China, and a pig. Tune in with your hosts, me, Steve, and Chris and Ben. Tune in with your hosts, myself, Steve, the me. Hello, welcome to the Peanut Cast. This is your hello, welcome to the Peanut Cast. Hello, welcome to the Peanut Cast, your modern day peanut gallery. I'm one of your hosts, Steve, and joining me will be Ben and Chris as we talk about things ranging from going back to the theaters, is it worth it? Was Mulan worth anything? And Pig, should you see it? Join us. Are you gonna throw up?
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Chugging a beer.
Have you had Orvs? Did I give you the Orvs spiel?
Yeah, you did.
I did give you the where it's
Oh,
the best,
absolutely.
the worst pie.
You don't need to say it again because
Yeah.
you already gave it to me.
Yeah, I could go into it for 40
Really,
minutes.
no need.
All right, Orvs, your local store, pick it up.
E-free.
Little known things happen over the last year and a half. If you haven't been paying attention, if you have, congratulations. I'll get you a cookie. There's been a pandemic, and people before the pandemic used to go to the movie theater. Ham sandwich, Steve. Did you guys used to go to the movie theater?
Oh.
You went to the movie theaters at one point.
No, yeah, I distinctly remember feeling absolutely dreadful every time I was sitting in a movie theater, and any human being within, oh gosh, I want to say a mile of me does anything remotely human, and I immediately
It's
say,
awful.
yeah, like, why am I even here? Why have I made the conscious decision to leave the comfort of my home? And then I couldn't leave the comfort of my home.
And so, did you miss it when you had to stay home?
You know, I think it's a refractory period. I think each one of us probably had a certain amount of time once quarantine started that we were like, oh, we can do this. This is no problem. And then the day comes where you wake up and you legitimately wonder why you're waking up. Mm-hmm. Because you're just going to look at the same four walls for another 12 hours. And that did not hit me till very recently, actually. I like being social, but I'm not a very social guy by nature, so not being able to go to the movie theaters, fine by me. I don't know how you guys feel.
You know, I don't know. I feel the same way where, you know, when I just went back to the theaters for the first time a little bit ago, and it was a great experience. I was like, I've missed this. This is beautiful. I'm in a theater. But half of it was definitely that it was an empty theater. And if there was anyone there, I would have immediately been upset and been like, why am I not at home? Like, I mean, I do miss the sticky floors, but that's about it. I could replicate that at home.
You miss the sticky floors.
Yeah, it makes me feel at home, you know. I like the cheap theaters where, like, they leave the dots on the ground and, like, the guy with the broom just kind of, like, crushes it into the carpet. Like, he doesn't really pick it up. Like, I like that ambiance, but if anyone, you know, talks or looks at their phone, you know, then
it's over.
I'm walking out of whatever
Quarantine
movie.
2.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
I thought at first, like, oh man, the theater, no, I'm gonna miss it so much, and I've still not returned to one, and I most likely will, but I've actually come around to the other side where I'm almost indifferent, where I've actually really enjoyed seeing new releases at home. I think I'm from now on gonna be very selective with what I want to see in the theater. If I can, I think we just watched No Sudden Move, the new Steven Soderbergh movie, and I think it would have been good in a theater. I think that's, you know, he still films for the big screen, but I did enjoy it at home, and I think I got as much an experience as I would get in movie theater without, you know, people being like, why does Benicio del Toro look like a pencil? And, you know, and I didn't need to deal with that. So
you bring up kind of like being sort of choosy about what you decide to go to the movie theater for.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. I think the first movie that Malia and I went to was The Quiet Place. Quiet Place 2. Quiet
Place Dos.
A Quiet Place?
Is it A Quiet Place?
A Quiet Place or Quiet Place?
Sorry, I'm 47. I'm not hip with the lingo.
It starts with an A.
A Quiet Place.
Yeah, A for aardvark.
A Quiet Place 2.
Mm-hmm.
We went and saw that in the theaters, and I will say, if I saw that movie anywhere other than the theaters, I'd think it was so fucking mediocre. No, I'm serious. The legitimate bass that comes with every monster attack,
Right.
whenever a monster is on screen, it's this heavy bass, this loud sort of clanging, and it is definitely, and this is, the purpose of the film, juxtaposed by the silence of most of the film, even though this one has a lot more talking in it than the first one. But if I watched that at home, I would just be like, this is a pretty average fucking movie. I don't care. These, on my shitty little, phone speakers or my shitty little home speaker system that I have that isn't Dolby Atmos plus extra mayonnaise on the side, it doesn't hit as hard as it did when I was in the theater. And I think going to the theater for that movie was a far better experience. And I think that's where I'll stand by with it, is being choosy. You're right.
Sure. Yeah.
That's got to be the way to go sometimes.
Sound is because I saw, what was it, Ford versus Ferrari, and that in theaters was a really actually I was like, oh, this sounds really good.
Right.
Did you it just?
Yeah, no, I saw that in theaters.
Yeah,
as well.
and I was like, oh, this is a
it.
theater movie because the fucking soundscape. That's a.
The
you think-
motors, the engines.
Do you think
I saw it on video on
sound?
demand.
Do you think sound is the only thing? Because when we talk about going to movie theaters, the three things that are different is, size of the screen, the depth of the sound, and the live experience of being around other people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for you guys, but I fucking hate being around other people. As for size of the screen, I get a little whatever about it. It doesn't really shock and awe me as it maybe used to when I was a kid. But the sound's the only thing that really, hits you in the chest.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, I don't know. You see things that are made to be widescreen and whatnot, and it's kind of cool. But I've seen widescreen movies at home, and I haven't been this should be on a bigger screen, versus sound. You just can't replicate surround sound. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess I could care. This is the first time I'm realizing that I think sound is the biggest factor with a theater movie.
I think I would agree with sound being a lot of it, but I think there's also something to say about the sensory experience. I think sound is the most important factor, but then the other two I think of would be that you're in a pretty pitch black room. Obviously if you're in a living room, you can get your lighting pretty dark, but a theater's dark, and then on top of that the screen is just so overwhelming. But I would agree that sound is probably almost the override, because so much is edited for the theater speakers. But I remember the last one I saw in theaters before the pandemic was 1917, and I definitely think the sound aided in that movie with helping it along with its continuous edit, and then also just being overwhelming because it has this sense of tension throughout. And I don't know if you get that same effect on even a 50-inch TV screen than a giant, oh look, it's his guts are plastered over his stomach, and it's the Krauts. Oh no, they're coming.
This is an interesting thing because all three of us are film students, graduated film students.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, okay. I'm just going to fucking break that out right now. All three of us went to school to study film, so...
It was a giant jip.
All right, relax. We'll get there. We watch probably, on average, far more films than most people who just don't care about movies, who just go and see movies at the movie theater, and they just use Netflix for TV or something like that to replace their cable.
Or my sister who watches The Parent Trap,
Right.
Every time she wants to watch a movie, she just watches
And I think it's interesting as a distinction where we can... Because I was speaking with my parents the other night about, what are you going to do? We can go to theaters now. I asked them, they're like, we're probably not going to go to a movie theater again. I was like, that's the weirdest shit you've ever said to me. They are 100% okay with watching every film in their home from here on out.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking wild?
No, I mean, it goes to what I've thought was going to maybe happen with the theater experience, because I thought when COVID started and the shutdown came, and I was like, well, the industry's dead. I don't know when it will come back. It's still shuffling back, but like, I thought this is gonna help edge along streaming services that were already fighting against whatever it was, a 6-month, 7-month delay for a theatrical release to come to, you know, VOD, video on demand. Now, and we saw that happen. Like, it was probably 4 months in, and then we had one of the first. What was the first one? There was one that was like the first movie to do it.
The first movie I remember hearing about, this definitely wasn't the first one to do it, but it was that what's the girl from Euphoria, Spider-Man?
Oh yeah,
Zendaya,
right. It was the
where she did something
Zendaya
with like John Washington or something.
Yes, it's called. Is it called Malcolm?
That sounds
Malcolm and Marie.
Malcolm and Marie.
There it is. That's like the first one that I remember hearing about, where they like started production on that after Corona started.
They filmed it during the pandemic.
Right.
They had apparently like a real small crew. I remember reading a weird article where they said like they had their own chef on set for all their needs. I'm like, okay. But yeah, that was one of the first ones. But
what film doesn't have a chef on their set? Like, what $1 million film doesn't have someone making food?
Just imagine fucking the next Marvel film, some guy's going making a subway run for fucking
honestly
Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill.
Just to
you know what? Okay, that's
okay.
it.
All right. Okay.
Okay. What is the next? What Marvel movie is Mark Hamill in? You know, that's the question.
We'll get to that question.
Because
we can't have fun yet.
Okay. Not yet.
We got to eat our vegetables before we can have dessert.
Talk about
I hope he plays Captain Marvel in the reboot of Captain Marvel.
Oh God, he'll do it. Yeah, I think there is something with the theater. Like, I thought it'll become a more specialty experience. I'm not a doomer in that. I think the theater's gonna go away. I think you're gonna see some definitely close that'll struggle in certain places, and people like you're gonna be like, well, we don't need to go. It's on HBO, and they'll do that. And there's double-edged swords of that, like we're talking about. But yeah, I think there's some of us, I think especially people who actually do make movies, who have a nostalgia for the theater. I think a lot of people have nostalgia for the theater, but it is gonna lessen. It's gonna be fewer people. I don't think there's any way around that. Steve, why is the theater dead, and why did you kill it?
That was a good transition.
Did you like it?
How close do you think they were to calling A Quiet Place and Quiet Place? And then they were like, John, it's actually, and it was like a whole embarrassing ordeal. Like, do you think that happened? I would have called it And Quiet Place, you know.
So I don't know if you guys saw this. Zack Snyder came out with a new film, and everybody loves it. And everybody loves Zack Snyder. And
this is just like an art podcast from like 1936, where they're like, Adolf makes a lot of great things.
I saw his paintings. There's so much soul in them. It's just, you look at them and you feel. We probably shouldn't reference Nazis on the first.
What do you mean?
No. It's the first episode. You can get away with anything.
I'm not saying Zack Snyder, is Hitler.
I think Zack Snyder is our modern day. I can't even fucking say it on the off chance I leave this in.
He did get away with war crimes.
Honestly.
Shaking hands,
wow.
Or we? What are we?
Where did you put the
bottle
war
opener?
Crimes.
Just for audio listeners out there who aren't watching the video, which, I mean, if you were paying money on the Patreon, you'd be watching the video right now. I just asked Steve for the bottle opener because Daddy needs a margarita. Oh, God.
And that was one of the interesting decisions, but also situations as Ben opens this bottle. Because you release a 4-hour movie.
He did. You're not Zack.
No.
Shit.
Zack, as in you, as in Zack being the you, releases a 4-hour movie. Like, I almost think the streaming aided in that, because otherwise you have to have an intermission, right? Like, who's gonna go?
No, there's no, like, every DC person would sit through a 4-hour. Every Marvel person would sit through a 4-hour Endgame. Like, you don't need to break
How long
that.
was Endgame?
Probably just like 2.5. I don't even think it was
2.5 is fucking abysmal. I hate that.
The only movie that should be 2.5 is Click, and it wasn't, right. which is why we need to bring it back.
More Sandler.
This is a Click-centric podcast.
That's right.
Right. Each episode we break down a scene from Click.
Speaking of which, now for our daily Click Corner. So,
I feel sad.
Shut up. What scene from Click are we discussing today?
God damn, I don't remember any.
No,
There's another one where there was boobs. I remember boobs.
Yeah, he slows down. She's jogging or something.
That jogging.
Yeah.
There's an even better scene where he like lifts up his shirt, like he takes his like stomach flap from like his liposuction surgery and just like flaps it at his son, and it's just.
I think there's a hotel in the movie. They're at a hotel. They're outside a hotel at some point. Remember that scene outside a hotel? That's the most I took away from it, but it's great.
And this has been your Daily Click Corner.
All right.
I don't know what's next.
No, I got you. Going back to, I do want to continue with Justice League because Zack Snyder not only released one pinnacle of the streaming during the COVID war, but arguably maybe two with Army of the Dead. Now, so I have a simple question for you: Has Zack Snyder won?
Has he won?
Has he won?
No, he too.
Is he too? Will more directors be shelling out to make giant, kind of bloated, very, very self-controlled productions on streaming services?
Okay, you're getting a little carried away with the negative adjectives here.
Nah.
Here's the thing. The only thing wrong with Army of the Dead, is that what it's called?
It is called that.
The only thing wrong with Army of the Dead is Zack Snyder.
If you took Zack Snyder out of the equation...
And here's the thing. His fucking camera.
I was going to say, what would you rate the movie if it was in focus?
If I could see what was happening, I'd give it like a solid fucking 7. It's like a totally passable. I'd put it on in the background, watch it, maybe show some friends, have a
Schlocky,
fun
dumb
night.
zombie movie.
Yeah.
It's fine. It knows it's not serious.
And it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
But I can't fucking see it. I don't know what the fucking deal is. It makes me so sad because we've all seen it. We've all seen the featurette that goes with it. I hate when Netflix does that, but I also kind of like it, but I also hate it.
Mm-hmm.
The little featurette that comes with it where he's like, I found these Japanese lenses and what makes them so special is that they're fucking broken or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's basically what he says.
They are very warped.
Yeah, he says like they got all these imperfections, and I'm like, why is this good for you? Like, you're making a fucking zombie movie set in modern day. What makes you want to make this into like some, I don't know, like a Kurosawa fucking masterpiece with these ancient lenses that are gonna add so much character to your film? It's like, you're making a schlocky zombie film. Just make the schlocky zombie film.
I just wonder how many people like knew what it was gonna look like, because you realize when you're making a film that maybe like if you're the director, like maybe you and the DP and eventually later the editor like sees stuff
way past the point of no return.
Way past when it's game over. But like so many people, as we saw in the featurette, clearly put work into production design and hair and makeup and everything. And like, did any of those people like in the process were they like, I'm getting paid, I know this is gonna be blurry, but whatever? Or do you think it came out and they were like, what the fuck?
I think that's the thing, and that's another thing that's really sad about the featurette is they really go into depth how, like the makeup artists, how they choose each of the zombies, the fucking horse. We all cheered when we saw the horse because it's so cool how they did the horse. Like, this is its sinew. We want to make it look real, but have the horse be comfortable. Blah blah.
Actual makeup.
And you see the horse for like 2 seconds. It's blurry, and you're like, ah. And I think it's definitely the latter where it came out. All the people who put blood, sweat, and tears into it are like. I'm sure there's that, like, dichotomous feeling of, ooh, I love that I was a part of this project, and I'm so proud to be on this, but fuck, you can't see anything that I did.
Yeah. And then I guess I would keep going on this with Snyder being Snyder-centric, but do you think there's more magnanimous personality with... Because it doesn't feel like there's as many celebrity directors as we look back at, like, maybe... even to Wells or then Kubrick, but do you think it's getting to a point more where there's like these directors who have such persona and this fan base, which I honestly can't even think of maybe another director has such a rabid fan base as Snyder, but are we getting more personalities?
Tarantino, Nolan.
Do you think we're having more of that? And then
Taika,
I don't think it's any different. No. Or you think there's any? Is there more of it?
Are you saying
like, do you think there is more? And like, as maybe the advent of social media and like way more, because you couldn't you couldn't post about Orson Welles like every day, like 40, 50 years ago. But now you can go like, I'm a Zack fan.
I don't think that streaming or like social media necessarily has made any more celebrity directors as much as like there's just more people making movies because it's easier to make movies. Not that it's easy to make movies, but like it's not the 40s where it's like you need fucking lights the size of like vans to get like people talking in a shot.
Sure, you can get a J.J. Abrams that just pops up out of nowhere, but still has like an identifiable style that people can rally behind.
There's just a bigger market for movies, and there's so much more money and stuff happening. And I guess streaming does allow for more content to be made, but I don't know if streaming just inherently.
I wonder if streaming. So, filmmaking, the classic filmmaking structure of going to Hollywood, pitching your film, having a studio pick up the script, and then having
the pizza.
Fucking pizza delivered. Ghostbusters 2016. Once you pop, and I don't think she says the last half.
Have either of you seen it?
I actually don't know the Pringles slogan.
It's once you pop, you can't stop.
Is that? I mean, it's true.
Let's look up the video. Jamie, pull that up.
Jamie.
Right now in Pringles ad is
He's
playing.
going, haha, ooh, 90s.
They don't make them like they used to.
One movie that my colleague Steve is very excited to discuss is what could potentially be the next blockbuster.
Oh God, do we want to start this now?
Okay.
Oh, you're bringing. Okay.
You want?
I thought you were skipping to the end here.
Jungle Cruise. Steve, tell us about Jungle Cruise and why you are so excited. Or mildly optimistic, however you would describe
Here's the
it.
thing. Okay, I'm just gonna level out. So I have seen. So I have seen one trailer for Jungle Cruise, and that was in the theater while I was watching Quiet Place 2.
Okay.
I'm sorry, and Quiet Place 2.
That's right.
Nice callback.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I hated watching it. I hated being there for that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really have anything against Emily Blunt or Dwayne The Jock Ronson.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to watch a Diet Pirates film, I'll just watch the films 4 through 5. Like, any movie attempting to recapture the magic that was the Pirates trilogy, and there's only 3 films, we're all agreed.
Only 3 films.
Is just a foolish endeavor.
What's the over-under that it's as good as Pirates?
Like, fucking 0% out of however much you want.
But Jesse Plemons does drive a submarine, so...
Is he supposed to be a Nazi?
I think he's Austrian. Well, I mean, Hitler is from Austria.
Because he rolls up in like a U-boat or something.
Yeah.
And this seems like to be during the period of, hey, let's go to Africa and let's fucking take everything out of Africa.
Is it in Africa or is it South America?
It's South America.
Is it?
It is.
I don't think you're right about that.
I think it's South America.
I don't think you're right about that either.
All right, Jamie.
The people of Jakarta will disagree with this.
Jungle Cruise.
Pull up an Asian capital.
Ben, name the famous river system that tons of little teen audiences would recognize.
Tigris.
I'm pretty sure that's not in Africa.
You don't know. You don't even know.
Tigris is in Africa.
You don't even know.
I'm pretty sure it's in the Middle East.
And you presume? How dare you?
Isn't that in Mesopotamia? Anyway, it's in South America.
What about the Miss Pippi?
Lazy River, Miss Pippi.
Wait, so would the movie Jungle Cruise be better on a different river?
Is that her topic?
All right.
I think that on the Chicago
now you're asking
River,
the real questions.
Yeah.
If this was going on through downtown modern Chicago, I'm all in.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's the Red River. It goes all the way up through Moorhead.
Shout out the Red River. Shout out the Red Hawks.
Shout out to that Red River soil, making them big ass zucchini so I can stick them up my butt.
God. Anyway, the advent of Jungle Cruise. Steve, why did it pique your interest?
Looking back, I'm like, I don't know how good of a topic
What? Yeah. What do we know about Jungle Cruise? That's
The only thing
Nothing.
the only thing that I know is that it's based off a theme park ride, which is the worst premise for any movie. But just the fact that the pirates did it, I like to imagine that I hope that that's what they were like. They were like, oh, pirates worked. Like, what if we made a fucking ride a movie again? And then they were like, Jungle Cruise. And
who thought Jungle Cruise, though? Is that just because that's the only one other than Small World, and
It's
Small
prob-
World would
it-
make everyone claw their eyes out?
it's probably because Jungle Cruise, they're like, it's on a boat. Pirates was on a boat. That's about it.
Oh my god.
We had Johnny Depp. Now we have The Rock.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are, you might think those are equatable. Others may not.
If Jesse Plemons is a Nazi, I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Hell
At
yeah.
least.
At
9
least.
out of
Fair
10.
enough.
If he's not, if they take some cop-out bullshit where he like he works with the German army and it's just very cool that he's here in his U-boat. It's completely unrelated.
He's contracted.
Yeah, I'll be like, all right, come on, make him a Nazi.
Is there any Disney movies that have a Nazi as a villain?
No, because Walt Disney's a Nazi.
Well, yeah.
We can't kill. We can't go against our Lord and Savior.
Wait, No, the Indiana Jones movies weren't.
No, they were Nazis.
No, but they weren't Disney.
They weren't. Yeah.
No, they were
weren't,
Steven Spielberg.
Open up the vault, unfreeze walls, get them out, and be like, you're a coward. We know you're protecting them. That's why you're pumping out all these Marvel
like,
movies so we forget that you exist in your ice box. You're just distracting us.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Could be a good movie.
Jungle Cruise. If Jesse Plemons a Nazi, 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
If not, maybe watch it on demand and skip
Don't
the
even
theater.
watch it on demand. You know what I fucking hate about on demand nowadays,
hate?
especially Disney on demand. Hey, let's charge people $30 extra at home to watch this film.
30 extra. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I'm interested in this.
This is a fucking. I have such a strong feeling about this. I don't think there's any justification for that whatsoever.
But what if you want to watch the new Mulan?
Then you should be able to watch it on the streaming service that you're paying. What is it now? $15-$20?
Probably.
Something. They had like a price increase very
they're
recently.
Gonna keep price increase.
Yeah.
Their whole game was to undercut the market coming in at what, $5.99, and now I'm pretty sure it's up to $8.99 or something. With Disney Plus, and then to the point of the movie price, like you said, Ben, like there's nothing that justifies. My father actually also thinks that like it's an absurd amount of money for one movie, and then I think the counter to that whatever articles you read about it at the time when it started is like, well, if you have 5 people and you divide that, it's how much money per person. Which, is there a movie in your mind though that $30 it's coming out, it's justified?
Click 2.
Okay, so if you want the just base Disney like bundle, which is Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu, it's basically $14 a month. If you wanted to add Hulu without ads, it's a flat $20.
Wait, what's Disney? What's just Disney?
So just Disney is $8 a month.
That is up.
So if you wanted just Disney Plus, you are already paying $8 a month
Yep.
for only films made by Disney,
That's right.
which is admittedly quite a few, but you're limiting yourself to only Disney films.
I have to imagine it had to have been it has to be a pandemic thing, I think, with the movie. Because, like, if it was, like, a giant-ass movie like Mulan that was not intended to be streamed, I have to imagine they're just like, fuck, we spent so much money on this. And, like, but, like, that's my, like, idealist thinking, is that, like, that's not... Because, like, who is going to pay $30 for a movie when you're paying for a subscription? Like,
Apparently a lot of people, I've seen several videos of, I think it's especially parents who see it as a deal because they have like 3+ kids and it's like paying for 2 adult movie tickets so that way all your little Rugrats can watch, you know.
yeah.
This year's
Black Widow...
This year's most disappointing film.
Can you watch Black Widow on Disney
Yeah.
Plus?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it $30 or something?
Black Widow
What's the price on
made
it?
the price to rent. I'm assuming is probably that 15-20 range. I don't know. We would maybe want to look that up, Jamie. But the thing I did read is Black Widow made I think they made $60 million in the box office, but then $40 million off streaming is what they claimed they got from streaming, which is not bad overall for a movie that was held for a year. The interesting thing that comes with that too is like how much can you trust like any streaming service's release of numbers, because there's no way to really. Netflix still doesn't release numbers. But
I think the concept of buying into a service where whatever movie is on that service, you will then be able to watch the minute it's on that service, completely flies in the face of them saying, okay, but also give us just a little extra money.
That's right.
For the new thing.
Just because fuck you. Because
Yeah.
we can't put it in theaters because people are dying from Rona.
well, and then apparently something too that happened with that.
Black Widow is available to stream if you pay the $30 premiere
That's even
access
more.
fee.
Wow.
The premiere access fee to the film that you are gonna just have naturally in the next fucking 3 weeks or whatever.
Yep.
It makes me so fucking heated, especially when they have the gall to make Mulan, which we've all realized now is a fucking stinker.
Did you see Mulan?
I have not seen it, but
We all know.
I feel as though we've seen enough media about Mulan that it can't possibly be any better than mediocre.
I've heard enough people kind of be like, but also like at the same time, it's any fucking Disney remake live action. It's like if I want to watch Mulan, I'm gonna watch Mulan. I'm not gonna watch the.
I think this Mulan was especially grievous, though. I think
'Cause it wasn't a musical?
There were some like politics that was implemented
With making it,
as far as like
Yes.
pro-China politics.
Yeah. There's
oh,
a
like
lot of-
in the process of making it,
Like
or
pro-Beijing, I should say.
was it making it though? I thought I remember hearing that the actress was. I think she was like
Super pro-Beijing.
Yeah,
Anti
Yeah.
the Hong Kong.
and so then people were like,
Yeah, remember when that happened?
Yeah.
Did anybody
It's not over.
remember when a fucking city-state was fighting for its rights?
I hate city states.
He despises the Vatican.
And Jakarta.
I like how
coming
that's a
for
running
you.
gag that we made off mic. I think.
know, yeah. I shouldn't say that.
Now bring it back. There was a Jakarta gag. You guys would have loved it. All y'all listening.
All you,
Anyone who's
all
stuck around
you
for
Ben
40
and
minutes.
people who Ben is showing.
That's right. There you go. Be like, Malia, is this good? And she's gonna politely be like,
Well,
hell
I think
no.
the other thing though with the Mulan that did happen, it did not do incredible because it came out released theater when pandemic was still raging.
Did it come out in theaters?
They tried to put it in
I feel like it
China.
didn't.
No, they did. They tried to put it in Chinese. They did. They put it in some Chinese theaters overseas
okay.
because China had cracked down and kept COVID from spreading horribly. At least we're told that.
Like when you read the COVID numbers for like the world and it's like crazy, and you read China, it's like we've had 10 cases
10
today.
cases,
And you're
that's
like, okay,
no more.
guys,
I know.
guys, you can level with us. No one's doing,
Yeah,
no one's doing well.
great.
We're
Be
all,
honest.
we're all shitting the bed here. Like it's not.
But I think I remember they did put it in. It did release in Chinese theaters, but it did not do like. I mean, again, China was still. It's better than some places, but again, that's still COVID. So it's like it didn't.
I mean, they're past COVID, so why don't they just fill their
That's right.
theaters?
Everything's back. That's right. Watch Mulan. But
China with their numbers is like the equivalent of like your cousin. It's like, yeah, I caught Mew. And you're like, you did? He's like, yeah.
I have a 10 KD on Modern Warfare 2.
Can I see? He's like, hey, I told you.
isn't that good enough?
Should be enough.
I'm family. You don't trust me?
Family. You see Fast and Furious? It's family.
Steve, you mentioned family. Do you have any intention, as someone who's seen not a single Fast, are you at all excited for Fast 9 that's now been in theaters for about a week, or the supposed promised ultimate space ride in the next subsequent 2 films?
This isn't good for the podcast, but no.
Okay, cool. I think that covers
We did
that.
I got pizza longs.
I fucking hate that when you get pizza long.
Pizza long.
You know what we're talking about, right, Steve? Steve does not know what Steve doesn't know what we're talking about, because what Steve does is he takes a big old vat of ranch and he gets a pair of tongs and dips each piece of pizza into the ranch and fucking slops it down like Matt Stoney, fucking maniac.
I don't do the tongs part. Because
It's 2 pencils, but I was close.
I like my lead mixed in there.
Moving on.
Moving along to the great film new wave movement of Ready Player One and self-referential, property-driven films. We do have another movie supposedly releasing after 3 or 4 subsequent delays. Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds and Taika Waititi.
Oh.
Yep. Free Guy.
Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah. Do you? I mean,
I remember the trailer that I saw 10 times before Rona, and then just it's gone.
Yeah. I just don't give any shits about that movie.
Not a single. It's neat.
Is that because of the Rona? Or...
No. That movie could exist without Rona.
that movie's a product of Rona. I don't care. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. It's probably bad.
Did you see there's a very interesting ad campaign they've started now where they dragged Ryan Reynolds out in the Deadpool costume. They just dry clean and put him next to CGI Taika and had them react to the Free Guy trailer, which feels
CGI
like
Korg.
Yes, well, who's Taika, but yeah, CGI Korg.
I mean, honestly, it'd be better if it was a CGI version of Taika. Like it was.
It was like Moff Tarkin Taika.
Yeah.
But Taika is alive.
But they don't address it and
I would see the film.
Yeah, I would be in. That'd be it.
Are you listening, movie execs? We're feeding you good ones here.
Like if a main character in Deadpool 3 was CGI Taika, like it's just Taika, but he's CG, I would be like, yeah. I'll pre-order. I'll pay $30 on Disney Plus.
I was trying. No, you wouldn't. I was like, "There's no Deadpool 3. Am I crazy?"
It's coming.
It's coming.
Is
it actually?
Yeah, they're
coming?
promoting. That's why he's dressed up as Deadpool, talking about Free Guy.
Are they coming out with a Korg movie, or what's the connection there?
The connection is that Taika voices Korg, and he's the bad guy in Free Guy, and that Deadpool is now in the Marvel universe. It's just like a weird amalgamation where they're like, yeah, people like these two guys.
If you watch
Free Guy, $40, Free Guy.
If you watch the Loki TV show, it explains everything.
I don't want to talk.
We're not. Moving on.
Please. I like how the back half of this pod is just like, I don't give a shit.
Why would we talk?
Let's see. What do we care about?
Is there a fan that we can turn on?
No. This is a podcast session, baby. You gotta sweat the content.
Bad for the mic.
Yeah.
Fuck the mic.
Yeah. You gotta keep the mic moist.
Bad for my moistness.
Oh yeah.
My clothes.
Television, summer of 2021. Recently, Steve, as a sports fan, you've found something you've described to me as it shouldn't work, but it subsequently has in your mind, and that is the first season of Apple TV. Is another streaming service that has come during the pandemic. Ted Lasso. How?
I think this would be a good topic, but because Ben hasn't seen it,
okay,
I'll give the perspective of somebody who hasn't seen it.
Do you know about Ted Lasso?
No. That's why it's a good perspective.
Okay.
Why did Ted Lasso work, Steve?
Yes, Steve. Tell me why this boring ass looking fucking TV show works.
So let me pitch this show to you. Mm-hmm. Imagine that you're watching, maybe, let's just say, I don't remember what it was, the NHL playoffs. And there's a commercial where Jason Sudeikis... This is real. There's a commercial on live TV where Jason Sudeikis plays a football coach from the South who doesn't get other sports. He only gets his sport. Like soccer, he doesn't get it. He's American. He's from Kansas, And then years later, a year or two later, Apple TV is like, what if this character from a commercial went to England to coach a soccer team, and it's a full show? Would you? And it's Jason Sudeikis, Kansas Jason Sudeikis in England, real show, 10 episodes, I think. What would be your initial thoughts?
I'm not gonna watch it.
It's the best show ever made. It shouldn't work at all, but it's the most.
I don't think it's. You can't. That can't be true.
Just everything I said.
You saying that it's the best show ever made, I refuse to believe that that's true.
That's what I said. And then I watched it, and I was like, I've never seen a show that, like, the conflict of the show is how this guy's going to completely avoid and not create any conflict, which also sounds like a terrible premise. And it's just great.
So, okay, does somebody have to be somewhat adept at their knowledge in sports to enjoy this show to its entirety?
No, because the only thing you need to understand is that this guy coaches football, and he's American, and he has no clue the rules or the terms or how soccer is played, and he's teaching soccer, he's coaching soccer. So then if you're a viewer that doesn't get sports, like I know soccer, but if you don't know soccer, then you're almost in his boat where he's like openly like, I don't know what I'm doing, and like he's learning things, which isn't really the point of the show.
What's the point of the show?
The point of the show is like any show where it's like about the characters, not like, I mean, you get invested if they win or lose, but like it's, you're not watching games. Like it's like watching The Office. Like, do you care if they sell paper?
You're not selling me by saying it's like The Office. I'm sorry.
What's a show you like?
Atlanta.
Like, do you listen to any of the albums do you listen to any songs off the Paperboy album? Like, do you care about his album?
It's funny that you said that. I don't actually listen to that, no. But I have been listening to more interesting, kind of offbeat rap music.
Sure.
So.
But my point is,
yeah,
is that album doesn't exist, but that's what they're trying to peddle in the show. And so this show is basically where it's like what they're trying to do, the sport doesn't matter. If you don't even know anything about sports.
Sure.
Yeah.
If that's your question.
And I, as someone who is the key demographic you're speaking to, of a person who watches the show and is invested in it, doesn't know anything about sports, I also enjoyed it. And I initially thought that, this is going to be another Parks and Rec or The Office, which will be fun for a while, but that eventually becomes almost a, reference on itself. But it's somehow, with an absurd premise, as Steve sets up, is just so goddamn wholesome. And you think, again, since one could say, if they continue to listen to us, would find us as cynics on this podcast in some respect.
Well, me. Yeah.
Exactly. Even being under that label, I could not deny, oh my God, I'm having so much fun watching these people be happy and still struggle. There's still conflict, but really, like Steve said, it's not so much that you need to know or give a shit about soccer. Just, do you invest in, like, human, almost, struggle and just camaraderie, which he gets done, which is weird, because it's all from a commercial.
To be fair, like, 95% of people, I think I'd be like, you're going to love it. I don't think I would say so. But the only reason why I would say you should watch it is because I was pitched to it by a friend, and I was like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. And the fact that I bought into it is just kind of...
What's it? It's available on Apple TV.
Yeah, which is the problem. that's the issue, you guys.
It's like, it's all the factors put together. It's like Jason Sudeikis, he's a coach that is fish out of water. It's only available on Apple TV. Oh my God, why? Why do you want this to fail so bad? It's just... In my head, I see so many negative strikes against it already. Mm-hmm. It would have to really claw its way out of the mud to be like anything.
Do you hate feel-good stuff? Like warm blanket shows? I really don't typically, but if you're like very like... If you go in being like, I don't want to feel good, like I don't want this show to try to like give me faith in humanity, then
I don't like faux feel-good. Like, I don't like the fucking, like, marketable, we're gonna play a early 2010s pop song and have the characters just be, like, really happy that everything's going okay. And I'm like... Ugh.
See, that's what it should be. That's what I thought it would be.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not. Even, I don't know.
I think saying the warm blanket... It is very much, like you said, a warm blanket show. And there's a lot of warm blanket shows, like... I never watched a lot of it. I tried to watch an episode, I think, of, like, This Is Us. which was that.
You watched an episode of This Is Us.
like the generic we're all these different Americans.
That sounds like where like every episode somebody's crying.
And I really thought like going in like, oh, it's just gonna be a mopey warm blanket. But the thing is, it doesn't. I guess lie to you about what it is like yeah, no, we're here to just do like feel good, and we'll have some kind of quippy like lines, well thought writing, but like we're not gonna like affront you with it. We're not gonna try to actually smother you with the blanket. We're just going to be the blanket. And
did you guys ever see the YouTube trailer for This Is Us that like there's something broken with it?
No.
Like,
no, is it funny?
Like, I don't know if they bought views, or I thought I saw something going around that maybe there's something wrong with like the algorithm, but but it was like because the This Is Us trailer came out, and I remember like seeing it like on the side or something, but it had like 10 million views, and I was like, wow. What the fuck? Like,
no
why is
fucking
I've
way.
never heard anyone what is this? Like, is that? And then like you watch it, there's like 1K likes and like 400 dislikes, so you're like, okay, like everyone's just getting shown it forcibly. But I just remember being like, is this the greatest show ever? And then I like saw 4 seconds of the trailer, and I was like, nope, it's not.
Okay, well, so kind of talking about feel good warm blanket movie. I can't say 100% that I dislike a warm blanket feel-good film, because just recently I rewatched Big Fish. Have you guys seen that?
I know of Big Fish, but
have you seen it?
I've not seen the Big Fish.
Such a different experience.
Truly.
Oh my God. Only 2 films have ever made me cry, and that is Big Fish and Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh, wow.
What part of just the ending of Perks of Being a Wallflower? Or?
Yeah, but just pretty much the whole thing. It was in my transitionary period from high school.
Yeah.
Or like being a junior in high school, and then becoming a senior.
Oh, so you saw like when
it hit me right at like when it was supposed to hit me, and I was just like, I remember being on a couch just in a blanket and just being like, like fucking just like losing it. But actually, Big Fish, I actually cried to it like 2 weeks ago. Which is amazing, because I am cold and dead inside. And both of you know this, that I am cold and dead inside.
Hollowed out.
Can you sell me on Big Fish?
Okay, so Obi-Wan Kenobi becomes Albert Finney.
Oh.
Do you know who Albert Finney is? Okay, never mind.
Sounds like a nerd.
Albert Finney's amazing.
Who's Albert? But he's a real person.
He's the actor, Albert Finney. He's a really classic actor who's been in a ton of shit.
So Obi-Wan is playing Albert Finney?
No, yes. Young Albert Finney.
Okay.
So it's basically a story of, what is the name of the guy who plays Dr. Manhattan? I know his name and I always forget it. It's like Kip something.
Dr. Manhattan. Same thing as Obi-Wan. You can just call him.
Dr. Manhattan is the son of Albert Finney, and Albert Finney is ailing. Like, he's passing away, but like he's not dead yet. And throughout his entire life, Albert Finney has been telling Dr. Manhattan about his travels as a young man, and there are all these like really super big tall tales and stuff that, you know, I know you're lying, Dad, but it's still interesting. And then it gets to a point where he's like, stop fucking lying all the time, Dad. Right. I'm getting sick of it. And you just kind of see through Albert Finney's perspective of what it was like to be young for him and the stories that he tells. And it's just a fucking amazing film that I was worried would not hold up, because like the last time I saw it, I was like 12.
Right.
And so like watching it just recently, I fucking was like, just tearing up at it, because it's such a beautiful film. I want you guys to watch it, because if it hit me in the heart as hard as it did, I feel like it'd do a number on you fellas.
I'll probably.
You think I'm not cynical?
We should watch it tonight.
I will probably flood. One other thing to note, Chris is a big crier at pretty much anything.
Yeah, so that's true.
Yeah. Ben is not. Ben feels nothing most of the time.
Chris, everything. Cried, dropped fork. Cried when Indiana Jones had to try to get his dad out of the
motorcycle.
Out of the motorcycle. It was so sad.
Get out of the sidecar.
Literally anything. I'll just tear up. So I do want to follow up with the feel good thing on a question. We've all seen the meme go around out of the plague there came the Renaissance. Do you think that the actual thing people want?
Have we all seen this movie?
Have you not seen this movie?
What?
It's
I
done?
don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen a very popular sentiment like posts and just random posts of like where people say like after COVID there's gonna be a great influx in the arts.
A great
and,
cleansing.
Well, no, but
It's gonna
I
be
think
a great loss of
no,
life.
it's a there's people who are trying to take the optimistic of like we after this great amount of stress and suffering, like there will be people who persevere through and make really great art. I was just wondering if you think what could come out of it is, do people want like a lot of that warm blanket stuff, or are we going to get a lot of weird like pandemic thrillers? Like what?
Pandemic.
I don't know. Like, is it going to be? Or do we want the warm blanket? Do people want the warm blanket after everything that's happened?
I hope during like the plague, people were like, "You gotta put leeches on," and people were like, "I don't believe in leeches. That's just what the knights are telling us to do."
I think the whole idea that, we're in a new renaissance because after the darkest of night there comes the brightest of dawns. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Things are allowed to just continuously be bad. You don't get your karmatic balance of quality in the world. So that's first off, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Okay.
So fuck you in particular, Chris.
I just bringing it up. I never took a stance one
I
way
don't
or the
know.
other.
I think it's gonna just be business as usual.
I think that I guess there was the Renaissance, but like.
But
I don't know. I feel...
in our age, a renaissance happens every like 3 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Is like, I feel like I don't know. Like art just always exists and keeps on existing. So I think to be like, this is going to lead to something. It's like every day something leads to something. I don't know. I hope to God. I know there's if the fucking world makes it out of the pandemic, there unfortunately is going to be pandemic movies. Which is just going to be Steven Soderbergh already did it before the pandemic, so we can just leave it alone.
No, we won't though.
But we won't. I'm surprised, honestly. Well, there was a fucking like, I don't remember what it's called, but there was there's a movie about like a dude in LA who's like immune to corona, and corona's like evolved like 80 times, and so like everyone's like stuck in their house, and it like kills like that. And everyone immediately was like, fuck this movie. We're like 3 months into this, guys. Like, what are you doing? And yeah, there's gonna be a lot of there's gonna be a Rona renaissance of just dog shit pandemic movies.
This whole time that we're in right now feels like continuously eating a fucking piece of pita bread. Or it's like at first you're like, this is interesting, and then you just keep eating it, and you're like, I'm getting kind of sick of this fucking pita bread, and then you just keep eating, and you're like, well, this is my life, I guess I'm gonna eat pita bread forever.
Till I die.
And it's like, there's nothing wrong with pita bread, but I just wish I had a bullet in my brain. I eat pita bread now. Steve, why don't you bring up the topic?
Steve, what are you bringing to the table? This
what
round
are you
table.
bringing to the table?
Have you contributed at all?
Don't drink your beer like
you
you're trying
lazy
to avoid.
son of a bitch.
Leave all of this in. What is the best case for Pig? Because it could be the best movie ever made.
It's a romance.
It's
a romance between a man and the one love of his life, the one thing that has never ceased to provide for him in all the ways that he needs. And that's his pig. And when you... Steve, when you take away...
Don't touch me.
When you take away the one thing that a man loves, he's bound to snap, Steve. He's bound to just... Come here. He's bound to just... No, don't. He's bound to just break, Steve. He's liable to go absolutely mad, Steve. And so the question you gotta ask yourself is, look at me. The question you've gotta ask, look at me. The question you gotta ask yourself is, am I the right man to go and view such a masterpiece. Are you the man, Steve? Or are you the pig? Think on that.
This podcast is brought to you by Clash of Clans.